You know, every single day, thousands of headlines flash across our screens. A political upset over here, a diplomatic meeting over there. It can all feel like just random noise. But what if it's not? What if all those little pieces are actually connected, part of one single fascinating story that's unfolding right now?
Welcome to Neural News Hub. Our job is to find that story by connecting the dots for you.
So let's set the scene. The date is February 9th, 2026. From the ballot box in Asia to some super high-stakes negotiations in the Middle East to new economic maps being drawn, today is just a perfect snapshot of a world in motion. So in this explainer, we're going to grab these threads and see exactly what kind of tapestry they're weaving. Our journey kicks off in Asia, where voters in two very different countries have just delivered some stunning and, maybe deeply connected verdicts. Okay, first up, Japan. In a really risky snap election, Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's Liberal Democratic Party, the LDP, they didn't just win. They scored a historic landslide. We're talking 316 seats in the lower house. Now, to give you a sense of just how big this is, that's not just a majority. It is the largest victory for any single party since the end of World War II. This is a massive, massive consolidation of power. And the scale of this political earthquake is just staggering. Look at this. The LDP gained 125 seats. At the same time, their main opposition, this new centrist reform alliance, completely collapsed, losing 123. I mean, it was a huge political gamble by Takaichi, and wow, did it pay off. Way beyond anyone's wildest expectations. Now, let's jump over to Thailand, where you can kind of see echoes of the exact same story. The pro-democracy People's Party, who had been leading in all the polls, well, they fell short in their election. Their leader, Nathapong Panyawut, was left urging his supporters not to give up hope. So when you put these two events together, a pretty clear pattern starts to emerge. Right across Asia, we're seeing this powerful swing back towards established conservative forces, and it's dealing a major blow to these reformist movements. Okay, so while voters are shaping things at home, their leaders are out there on the world stage walking this incredible diplomatic tightrope where, a single conversation can literally change everything. Over in Muscat, Oman, officials from the US and Iran are back at the table, well, indirectly, talking about Tehran's nuclear program. Iran's foreign minister called it a good start, which is a rare bit of optimism. But, and this is a big but, huge hurdles are still there. Washington wants to talk about Iran's missile program, and for Tehran, that's a total red line. So while the tone is positive, the actual path forward is incredibly narrow. And this kind of diplomatic tension isn't just happening in formal meetings. It's spilling right onto the cricket pitch. Pakistan is threatening to boycott a World Cup match against its huge rival, India. To get them to play, they've laid out 3 conditions for the International Cricket Council: more money, bringing back direct cricketing ties, and, get this, making the post-match handshake mandatory. Each demand is using the world's most watched cricket match as leverage, basically turning a sporting event into a geopolitical bargaining table. Meanwhile, in the Caucasus, the U.S. is pushing this really ambitious diplomatic project called TRIP. That's the Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity. The idea is to build a massive transport corridor right through Armenian territory, connecting Azerbaijan to its exclave. The strategy here is pretty powerful. Use economic ties, use shared prosperity to try and cement a lasting peace between two historic enemies. It's a really high-stakes play for stability in a famously volatile part of the world.
All right, so while the diplomats are talking, money is on the move, and it's quietly redrawing the entire global economic map.
On the economic front, the US and India just announced a major interim trade framework. Now, this is a huge deal, especially for American farmers and producers. India has agreed to slash tariffs on a whole range of US goods. We're talking everything from tree nuts and soybean oil to wine and spirits. This move basically unlocks access to one of the biggest and fastest-growing consumer markets on the planet. But here's the thing. While the US and India are making all these headlines with this very public deal, China is playing a totally different game. Its central bank has been quietly, steadily buying up gold for 15 straight months. This contrast really shows two clashing economic ideas. On one side, you have these big public trade deals. On the other, you have a silent, long-term strategy of stockpiling hard assets. These are two fundamentally different visions of what economic security even looks like in the 21st century. So, we've got political power shifting, we've got diplomatic lines being redrawn, and we have these diverging economic strategies. It's all a form of global competition, right? But there's one more arena where this all plays out: sports. The Winter Olympics are kicking off in Italy, and as you'd probably expect, the traditional powerhouses like Norway, the USA, and Germany are the heavy favorites to top the medal count. Now, sure, it's a friendlier contest, but it's still a parallel track of global competition, a race for national pride that really mirrors the higher stakes games we've been looking at. So let's connect these dots one last time. On a single day, February 9th, 2026, we've watched power consolidate in Asia. We've seen these incredibly delicate diplomatic talks that could prevent a conflict, and we've seen nations forge entirely new economic paths. Each one of these is like a small tremor on the global landscape. So the real question for you is, which of these tremors, the swing towards authority, the new economic alliances, the fragile peace talks, which one is going to become the earthquake that redefines our world for the rest of the decade? The world keeps changing, and the dots will just keep appearing. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons to stay updated with all these informative videos and useful updates.